Thanks for joining us. First tonight, the parents of a baby boy who died when he and his twin sister were just 10 days old say maternity staff should have listened to their fears that he was seriously ill.
Kingsley Olusopo died after staff at the Royal Bolton Hospital failed to spot signs he had an infection and failed to give him antibiotics when they could have saved him. The coroner leading the inquest into Kingsley's death said his death was caused by a gross failure to provide basic medical care.
Kingsley's parents say they dread one day having to tell Kingsley's twin sister what happened to him. They've been speaking to our correspondent, Andy Bonner.
Memories are all Tunde and Nicola have of their son Kingsley. He was born half an hour before his twin sister Princess at Royal Bolton Hospital in April 2019. But while she is now 3, Kingsley died when he was just 10 days old. His parents maintained they knew from the start something was wrong.
He was always poorly feeding, and we did raise these concerns quite a lot of times. His temperature was never okay, and we just knew that there was something not quite right with Kingsley.
As a mother of a child, and she's told him quite a few times, and I've told him, and we don't feel that they've listened to us, because they feel like they knew better than us, and obviously nobody knows much more than the parents of the children themselves, and that's how we felt that something isn't right. They wasn't taking us seriously at first.
Kingsley's inquest heard the hospital should have recognised risk factors earlier, which should have meant Kingsley was screened for infection and given antibiotics. If they had, the coroner said, he would have survived. Kingsley's parents know they face a tough conversation with his sister.
It is another thing that we still have to face, to have to sit her down to explain what the hospital have done. And we have to also tell her what we have tried to do as a parent to avoid the situation from taking place. And we don't know what she's going to react to it when she grows up as well. And that's still yet to come too.
It shows how important it is that sometimes the parents' instinct is right. They did raise concerns about Kingsley at the very early stages following his birth, and they were acted upon. And obviously they knew straight away that something wasn't right, and it's through their determination that they've been able to get those answers.
It's just something that we wish it's never happened, and we wish they would have listened to us and do the right thing that they should have done, follow the right practice that they've been given from day one as well. And we just hope, we just don't want other family to go through what we've been through, because it's really something that is really difficult to overcome, the situation that's happened.
We need lessons to be learned.
Recording a verdict of natural causes contributed to by neglect, the coroner said there was a gross failure to provide basic medical care to Kingsley. His family just hope lessons have been learned. Andy Bonner, ITV News, Bolton.
And in the past hour, Bolton NHS Foundation Trust has released a video statement on the inquest's findings.
On behalf of the Trust, I would like to offer my sincere condolences to Nicola and Tunde for the tragic loss of their little boy Kingsley. Nothing can take away Nicola and Tunde's profound grief. We fully accept the outcome of the inquest and are truly sorry that our care fell below the standards that Kingsley, Nicola and Tunde deserved. Following the verdict today, the actions we have taken and the learning from this, we will continue to do all that we can to prevent such a tragedy from happening again.
Well, next tonight, and Preston Crown Court has heard a woman from Barrow murdered a baby she said she wanted to adopt. It's alleged 38-year-old Laura Castle sent her husband Scott aggressive text messages, one saying she needed to stop smacking Leland Corkill because she said, "If I start, I won't stop."
The little boy, who was 13 months old, died of a severe head injury. The prosecution say that was inflicted by Laura Castle in January 2021. She's admitted manslaughter but denies murder and cruelty. Her husband, who's 34, denies causing or allowing the death and cruelty. A 50-year-old man's appeared in court accused of murdering Katie Kenyon. The 33-year-old mother of two from Burnley hasn't been seen since Friday.
Yeah, police are still searching for her in Gisborne Forest, a beauty spot in East Lancashire. Our reporter Tim Scott was at Blackburn Magistrates Court.
Andrew Burfield had originally been charged with the kidnap of Katie Kenyon, but today he appeared here at Blackburn Magistrates Court charged with her murder. The 50-year-old, who's from Burnley, wore a grey sweat top and sweatpants as he stood in the dock. He spoke only to confirm his age and identity. He was told by Magistrate Jill Smith that the seriousness of the charge against him meant he couldn't be charged at Magistrates Court, and he was remanded in custody and will appear at Preston Crown Court tomorrow morning. 33-year-old Katie Kenyon hasn't been seen since last Friday morning. A huge search operation in Gisborne Forest in North Lancashire is still underway. Police officers from 4 forces are being assisted by mountain rescue teams and the fire service, but so far there's been no sighting of Katie, and police say they're now working on the assumption she's no longer alive.
Tim Scott reporting. Well, next this evening, and there is never a busy day in the world of politics, and it is currently being consumed by the scandal of a Conservative MP apparently watching pornography on his mobile phone while sitting in Parliament.
Yeah, so much to talk about. With that and Partygate, it probably seemed like a good idea for the Prime Minister to get right away from it all and come to Lancashire for a bit of a break today.
Yeah, Boris Johnson was in Burnley to support his party's campaign for the local elections next month. But will those worries at Westminster damage the Conservative vote?
Yes, that's the question. Our correspondent Mel Barham was there.
As he was given a tour of Burnley College and shown how this pressurised oven works, the Prime Minister must have been feeling the heat from the latest scandal to hit the Conservative Party, as accusations surfaced that one of his MPs was watching porn in the Commons. If only fixing his party's reputation before next week's local elections was as easy as making this toolbox.
The independent complaints and grievances procedure needs to be activated, and we need to get to understand the facts. But yeah, I mean, this is clearly, that kind of behaviour is clearly totally unacceptable.
This obviously comes off the back of Partygate. Do you think this is going to affect your chances in the election? And is this election going to be a referendum on your leadership?
This election on Thursday, just a week's time, is about, dynamic Conservative councillors offering better value for money and making sure that your potholes get filled in, making sure that your bins get collected when you need them collected, but doing it in a way that respects the importance of taxpayer value.
Do you genuinely believe that you are doing enough for families here in the North West to get through the cost of living crisis?
Look at what we had, £96 billion to build, not just to extend HS2, but to build Northern Powerhouse Rail, which would be of massive benefit for the North West. The reason we're doing it is because we believe in the capacity of this part of the country to grow and change and to become an absolute global magnet for investment.
Child poverty here in Burnley is 14% higher than the national average. Why should young people vote for you?
Because I think that what we're offering is a vision for the future of the country that is led by high-wage, high-skill jobs.
With an emphasis on jobs and training, he may have been hoping to impress these new first-time voters, but did it work?
The way he views things and the way he sees education and how he feels about it, I think it's more of an impact of what I'm going to vote for, and I think I know.
He's been brilliant today. I don't think it will change how I will vote.
He was really nice. He told us a lot of stuff about his plans, and he was really nice when he met everyone.
It was a short visit here to Burnley College, but as the election nears, his party will be hoping it's lent a helping hand to Tory campaigners. Mel Barham, ITV News, Burnley.
Well, now let's take a quick look at what's coming up on the ITV News at 6:30 with Charlene.
Coming up at 6:30, more allegations of sexist behaviour in Parliament after a Tory MP is accused of watching porn in the Commons chamber. The £1 billion black hole in funding education for children with special educational needs. We travel to Auschwitz with cricketer Azim Rafiq on his journey of discovery. And is it a bap, a roll or a bread cake? Dialect researchers want to know who says what and where. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
It's a roll.
OK, well, look, we're going to argue about that all day.
The debate continues.
OK. Well, next tonight, the special van that's been lovingly restored in memory of a woman who died in the Manchester Arena terror attack. Steve Howe from Royton bought the 1963 classic with his wife Alison, with dreams of doing it up for their daughter Darcy.
But when Alison died in the terrorist bombing, those dreams, like so much, came to an abrupt end. And the van has been sitting in Steve's garage ever since.
Well, that was until a team from the television programme Car SOS stepped in. Our correspondent Amy Welsh takes up the story.
It started out as a rusty old van, which has been sat in Steve Howe's garage gathering dust. He bought it with wife Alison, who had dreams of doing it up. But when she was killed in the Manchester Arena terror attack, those dreams didn't happen.
Everything came to an halt when we lost Alison. You know, not just the van, the whole world stopped for two or 3 years. It still has. But slowly but surely, we just thought we need to do something that we'll remember her by, and that van is the perfect symbol of Alison.
Daughter Darcy has struggled to talk about that night. She was at the Ariana Grande concert when the blast happened, and her dad hopes this could be a business opportunity which lifts her spirits.
It's just a shame, isn't it, that Alison and Darcy won't be stood in it. It'll just be Darcy. It'd be great if Alison was stood in it with her, wouldn't it? She wouldn't be laughing with us, you know. She wouldn't be sat here now with us laughing. When it arrived on my drive originally, 8 or 10 years ago, and it looked like you pulled it out of a canal, I think she said, that'll never get done. I think she actually said that.
And that is where these two come in.
Can we see it?
Of course you can, come on.
Wow, look at that. The automotive god that is the HY van.
Tim Shaw and Fuzz Townsend arrive on Steve's doorstep with grand plans to restore this French classic as part of the TV programme Car SOS. But there's immediately a problem.
It was full of holes, rot everywhere and terrible poor repairs. Rot on the side, rot on this vital support, rot on these outriggers.
And when Steve is invited to the workshop to see how things are going, he's almost speechless.
Wow.
Initial reaction, how does it feel?
Initial reaction, you've got your work cut out there, lads, haven't you?
The cutting, welding and re-spraying result in a remarkable transformation. And the big reveal to Red supporter Steve and the rest of the family takes place at Old Trafford.
You all right, Steve?
Yeah,
come here.
Speechless. Because we lost Alison, it's been outside the house, and every time I looked at it, or we looked at it, we thought of Mum, didn't we?
The alley van even includes Alison's signature and is now back home for the Howe sisters to enjoy. What do you think your mum would have made of it?
She would have loved it because she liked stuff like that. She had a different burger van that she used to use.
She used to want to open a cafe and stuff, so she definitely would have loved this because we used to have little drive parties and like she'd have the burger van on it.
She was the best mum ever and I wish she was here.
And with Alison's 50th birthday approaching next month, this mobile milkshake maker is one present she really would have loved. Amy Welch, ITV News, Royton.
Yeah, you can watch that episode of Car SOS tonight at 8 p.m. on the National Geographic channel. I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous watch.
Yeah, and I've been told in no uncertain terms it's a balm or a balm cake. OK, let's move on to sport now. Breaking news. Good news for Liverpool fans with Jurgen Klopp extending his time with the club. David, this is what Liverpool fans have been waiting to hear.
Yeah, it absolutely is, especially when he hinted that he was probably going to leave Liverpool when his current deal ended in 2024. But he's had a change of heart, and instead of going in 2 years' time, he's now signed a new deal that will keep him at Anfield for another 2 years until 2026. While reacting to the news, Klopp channeled his inner Beatles, saying, "I'm in love with here and I feel fine." Well, he added that he's delighted, humbled, blessed, privileged and excited that both he and his assistants have put pen to paper on contract extensions. Well, Klopp is the longest-serving manager in the Premier League, and since he joined the club in 2015, he's overseen the resurgence of Liverpool and brought back the glory days. He's won the Premier League, League Cup, Champions League, European Super Cup and Club World Cup. And keeping Klopp could also be important with negotiations ongoing on new deals with key players like Mo Salah.
We know we go there and will be a tricky atmosphere for us, obviously difficult and different to tonight. These players who saw that tonight, this coach, they fight for it with all they have. What I like, that everybody could see, we fight with it with all we have, and it's always the same.
Well, Manchester United's interim manager Ralph Rangnick admits it's unlikely that the club will qualify for Champions League next season. United are missing 7 players for their Premier League game with Chelsea tonight. They need a win at Old Trafford to close the 6-point gap on Arsenal, who are in 4th place.
We need to be realistic. Even if we win all 4 games, it's still not in our own hands. But what is in our own hands is the way that we play, the level of our performance. And even for the next season, I think it's important to finish this season on the best possible note.
Well, to cricket, and Jimmy Anderson has been among the wicket takers for Lancashire on day 1 of their county championship match with Hampshire. He's taken a hat-trick as Lancs look to make it 3 wins from their opening 3 games of the season. Pakistan international Hassan Ali took 5 wickets of his own as Hampshire were all out for 246. In reply, Lancs are 36 without loss. And that is all your sport for tonight.
Thank you.
Next, a man who can do pretty much anything in showbiz. He can do stand-up, serious acting, comedy acting, screenwriting, but one thing he hasn't been able to do for the last 2 years is take his show on the road.
But now Steve Coogan is on tour with his new stage show Stratagem. Not surprisingly, it features one of the funniest, and I think it's fair to say most annoying television presenters of all time.
Yeah, he certainly is.
Yeah, Alan Partridge.
Alan Partridge. He came to have a chat about it with our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore, and also take a trip down memory lane. And we should warn you, there is a pretty fabulous image of Lucy rocking a pretty striking 1990s hairstyle. Have a look.
Hello! Give me a score.
Steve Coogan, you are back here in Manchester, where it all began for you. Is it good to be home?
Yes, it is, yeah. I've still got a lot of family up here, all my siblings and my mother. Yeah, being back is great.
And I want you to come to my show.
You've been playing Alan for over 30 years, and this is the first time you've dedicated a full tour to him.
I'm really looking forward to doing the arena tonight, because when I have performed in Manchester, they give me a little bit more love than I get elsewhere. Liverpool, Manchester, anywhere up north, I'm going to get a slightly warmer reaction than. I've got fans all over, but it's just a bit nicer up here. It is where it all started for me.
Steve Coogan.
You want me to play a cello?
I was at college in Manchester and started doing gigs roundabout before alternative comedy in the old Manchester, before the shiny new buildings were all here in the olden days. Very proud of my Mancunian roots. It's sort of part of what defines me as being from the north. Yeah.
Is
Stratagem
an actual word, or is that an Alan Partridge made-up word?
We just made up this. When you do a tour, what you do is you don't write the tour. You make up the title first, and you write the show to fit the title.
Stratagem.
Think of a title, and then just figure it all out later.
Stratagem.
We knew it was going to be like Alan Partridge fancying himself as some sort of lifestyle guru with hilarious consequences.
Look at that smile and tell me where it's wonky.
I don't think it is.
There's a bit of extra lip on the left and the one dimple a touch wider than the other, but the teeth and gums are in line. Good God, man!
Sometimes I feel more comfortable when I'm in character than I do as myself. I've gone off and done other things, but I like to come back to Alan. I don't want to tell you too much, don't want to spoil the film, but I'll just say Icarus, okay? If you know what I mean, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But you should probably read more.
The film 24-Hour Party People is 20 years old this year, and you played the late, great Tony Wilson, who, of course, used to present our programme.
Yes, of course.
How do you feel about that film now?
I knew Tony pretty well. I did actually do a show on Granada with him about 30 years ago called Up Front, and then I played him in the film, and we shot in the Northern Quarter before it became hip. Of all the things I've ever made, that film is the most personal to me, because
You know, I went to the Hacienda as a student. I miss him, you know. He was a very, he was an important part of my life. And being able to play him was a real privilege. And that film has sort of become more important to me as the years have gone on. I almost like can't watch it. Granada, where I started 30 years ago with Caroline Aherne, someone else I miss greatly. That now has great sentimental meaning for me.
People do want to hear Alan's catchphrase, don't they?
I might get builders on scaffolding shout aha because they can't wolf whistle anymore. So instead they just shout aha at me.
Thank you for coming. It's lovely to see you.
Nice to see you too. Stratagem live with Alan Partridge.
Yeah, lovely to hear him talking so fondly about Tony and Caroline there. Tickets for the Stratagem Tour, starring Steve Coogan as Alan Partridge, are out now. Now the weather with Jo.
Ooh, I love a hot shower, me.
And a minute shorter than usual.
What a legend.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Hello, a very good evening to you. There were a few glimmers of brightness around first thing today, but we have seen cloud creeping in somewhat this afternoon. And as we go through into tonight, the dry theme continues. Tomorrow promises to be brighter on the whole, with some sunshine around. There's no real rain for the gardens until Saturday night and into Sunday. The dominance of high pressure across the UK continues, and it's really not until the latter stages of Saturday when low pressure and associated fronts will be allowed to bring a drop of rain, maybe 9-10 millimetres for the gardens, and for growers it's good news. Much needed rains for the reservoirs and rivers too. But back to the here and now, it's dry, quiet tonight, a few shallow mist patches here and there. A little bit of cloud cover at times, and temperatures really, much like last night, could dip down low enough for a touch of frost, but most of us towns and cities should stay around 4 or 5 degrees with a gentle breeze as we roll into Friday. On to tomorrow. Firstly, the sun will be up at 5:40 and it sets at 8:37 tomorrow evening. Friday will start on a chilly note for many, but bright and sunny with some really nice blue skies around to start the day. Northwest England and the Isle of Man should have a dry day, and tomorrow afternoon temperatures will be up on today. It's going to feel warmer, 14 or 15 Celsius, and very pleasant in the sunshine with variable amounts of cloud perhaps just bubbling up during tomorrow afternoon. Looking ahead then into the weekend, Saturday a nice day, fine, warm, 16 degrees, perhaps the odd 17. Rain Saturday night into Sunday, which will gradually clear, and Bank Holiday Monday looks dry. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Oh, hello.
Get him a towel.
Thanks, Jo. We're still arguing here. Stotty cake, tea cake, cob, muffin, batch. A new bottom...
Roll.
Muffin?
Roll.
Oven bottom.